You need the right relationships. I remember when I was growing up, I would always be told, friends will waste your time, friends will waste your time. But the truth is, the wrong friends would waste my time, the wrong ones. But the right friends were essential. Let me ask you this: who shaped your thinking as you were growing up? Who shaped your thinking? The truth is, my friend, you are shaped by the people who are around you. Who do you become when you are around certain people? There was a time in my life when I lived in constant defeat. I mean, if losing was a person, it was this guy here. And that's because I really thought that life was all about effort. I thought if you try harder, if you push harder, if you pray a little more, then things will begin to happen for you and doors will open. But what I didn't understand was this concept of favor with God and favor with people. You see, the Bible says that Jesus grew in stature and in favor with God and favor with people. And in that season of my life, I had to learn that there are principles and systems that we engage in order to unlock this favor with God and favor with people. It is not random. And the book I wish I could have read at that time is the book that I had to write myself. It is Unlocking Favor with God and People. It is a 30-day devotional that is written in very simple fashion, which is how I prefer to read books. So if you go to polokoglobal.com or Amazon, if you are anywhere else outside of South Africa, you'll be able to get yourself a copy of this book gifted to a loved one as well. I promise you it is worth the read. God bless you, my friend. What if I told you that your life is what it is right now because of the relationships that you keep? I'm not saying this so that you can blame other people for the way your life is, but I am saying this so that you can take accountability for the relationships that you keep in your life. My friend, welcome to another episode of Aligned with Poloko. You know that this is where faith becomes practical living and it becomes personal transformation. And for this week, we're going to be talking about relationships. We just came out of Valentine's Day, and if you're watching this sometime in the future, it's fine, just watch it now. But we know that February is usually considered to be the month of love. But oftentimes, this idea of relationships is misunderstood among many people because a lot of people will see relationships as something that is evil. Why do people have to get ahead on connections instead of just their own experience and education? Or somebody else will say, relationships for me are just something that happens, right? For a lot of people, relationships are just something that happens. Anybody can just walk into your life, walk out of your life. It doesn't matter. But I want to show you today that relationships must be designed. The relationships in your life must be designed. And more than that, I want to convince you in this episode, and then we're going to continue with it over the next couple of episodes. I want to show you that relationships matter. You need the right relationships. I remember when I was growing up, I would always be told, friends will waste your time, friends will waste your time. But the truth is, the wrong friends would waste my time, the wrong ones. But the right friends were essential. You see, my friend, I'll tell you right now, I didn't grow up with a father. I learned how to fight with my friends. I learned how to defend myself there. I learned how to ride the bike with my friends. I learned how to kick the ball with my friends. There's a lot that I learned with my friends that I did not have a male figure in the house to teach me. And so I grew up to understand the value of friendships, that they were not just there to waste your time, but the wrong one could destroy your life. And the Bible says in Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verses 9 to 12 says, two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. But pity anyone who falls down and has no one to help them up. Also, if two lie down together, they will keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? Though one may be overpowered, two can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. My friend, there's no other way to put this. You need relationships. You need the right relationships in your life. And this is a fundamental part of your spiritual development, your personal growth, your social adjustment. You need relationships, and you need the right ones. In Genesis chapter 2, verse 18, right after God created the man, he says something very profound about the man. And this is the first time that we see God say that something is not good. It says in verse 18 of chapter 2 in Genesis, it says, "The Lord God said, it is not good for the man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him." It is not good for the man to be alone. And then he says, "I will make a helper who is suitable, good for him." Not just any kind of relationship, not just somebody to kill the boredom. A helper that is suitable, that is well-fitting, that is well-fitted. Now, I want you to get this, because when we talk about relationships, oftentimes people look at the relationships that they have and they acknowledge the fact that I have relationships. But it's very important that you audit them and you ask yourself, am I in relationships with people who are suitable for me? Am I in relationships with people who are contributing to the fulfillment of my purpose? Ever since I got into this relationship that I am in with this person, has my life gotten better or worse? Very, very important question. Let me put it to you this way, my friend. God designed relationships as systems of formation. God designed relationships as systems of formation. It's not good for you to be alone. I need to create a helper who will be suitable for you. They will not be suitable, they will not be good enough on their own, but they will be suitable for you. This is more than just about marriage. This is more than just about a man meeting a woman, a boy meets girl. It's more than just about that. And I'll tell you now, I have a mentor who often points to the fact that the problem with us as a people, specifically Black people, is that we love the idea of owning something by ourselves, to ourselves. We love the idea of owning 100% of something. We love the idea of being the only. And can I tell you something? I learned this a long time ago as well, that one of the biggest disadvantages of Black people is that we have this fascination with being the first and only, first Black woman to do this, first Black man to do that, the only Black man this, the only Black woman that. It's a dangerous mentality. And I don't mean to make this about Black people and white people, but it's a dangerous mentality. This idea of wanting to be the first and only. It puts us in a position where so many of us start with good ideas that will never materialize because you're trying to fulfill it by yourself. You're trying to do something that requires a team by yourself. It is not good for you to be alone. It is not good for you to be attempting to do this by yourself. I'll tell you now that unfortunately, when I learned this in certain areas of my life, I had already delayed myself in an unbelievable way. I had already delayed myself so much, right? I had already wasted so much of my effort, wasted so much of my energy, simply because I wanted to be alone in this thing. I didn't want anybody to take credit. What? I want somebody to come here and take credit for what I've created, what I came up with. You need relationships. You need the right person. So I want you to reflect on this. I want to ask you just 3 questions that I want you to reflect on in order to see how who you are today has been shaped by relationships. Let me ask you this. Who shaped your thinking as you were growing up? Who shaped your thinking? Come on, you didn't just arrive here believing the things you believe. You didn't just arrive here thinking the way you do. You arrived here a blank page. You arrived here just open to the programming of the people around you. So who shaped your thinking? as you were growing up? Think about that for a moment. Is it the teacher? Is it your parents? Is it the siblings you had? Is it the friends that you had? Is it the teacher at Sunday school, the church you grew up in? Who shaped your thinking? Is it politics? Who shapes how you think? Somebody out there has a direct influence on how you think. Another question, who influences your decisions today? Who influences your decisions today? There are people in your life who influence the decisions that you make on a daily basis, all the time. And as much as you want to say that you are your own person, listen to me. We created this podcast for the people. I truly believe in this mission, but if everybody collectively in the world had to say stop, I would stop, right? I would stop. So the influence of the people plays a role in what we create. If we go into the comment section and 50 people out of 60 are saying we need the podcast to be 1 hour instead of 20 minutes, we would do that. Who influences your decisions today? Is it the political party that you are affiliated with? I know people who cannot think for themselves, right? There is a political party out there that owns their mind. But someone is influencing how you make decisions today. Another question, who do you become when you are around certain people? Who do you become when you're around certain people? Some of you who are parents would know this. If you have a child perhaps who is in high school, some parents will know this, that there was a time when you were shocked when they told you the things that your child does, because you could not believe that this is your child. You know your child to be someone completely different, but you don't know your child when he's around Speecho and Bobby. You have never seen your child around them, right? That's who influences their thinking. Your child becomes someone else when they're around you because of who you are. So relationships around us all the time shape us. I remember when I was younger, I would do things at school that if you were to tell my family that I was doing, they would be like, "What, Poloko? What?" And not only bad things, even good things, right? Even good things. Once I had left home and I started speaking, they knew me to be shy. They knew me to be terribly introverted. Could not speak up for myself. And so if you were to tell them that Poloko is up there speaking, what? Who? But it was the influences that I had around me, because at the time there was someone who said to me, Poloko, I think you could be an excellent speaker. I think that you could be an excellent speaker if you just committed yourself to it. I said, oh, okay, I'll try that then. The truth is, my friend, you are shaped by the people who are around you. Who do you become when you are around certain people? Now, before we talk about the alignment part of this over the next couple of days, we must understand why relationships carry so much weight. And over the next few days, we'll talk about the alignment part of this, but you must understand why they carry so much weight. In fact, let me read this for you out of Unlocking Favor with God and People. You'll know that when we spoke about relationships previously, I had read this as well. But let me read this for you, and this is in day 4 of Unlocking Favor with God and People. If you spend any time with truly successful people, you will notice a trend. They always know someone, whether it's a lawyer, a business partner, a doctor, a designer, or a pastor. There is always someone they can call. Their lives move at a different pace because they are not limited to their own ability. They have learned the art of leveraging relationships. This is not manipulation. It is wisdom. It is how God designed the world to work. This is how God designed the world to work. It's the reason why you have a job. It is the reason why you are successful in running your business. The fact that there is someone out there who needs a service and you know how to provide that service. Right? That's how God designed the world to work. If everybody had to do their own plumbing, their own building, and their own everything, we would not be moving forward as a society. Civilization would still be in the dark ages if everybody had to depend on their own abilities. So I ask you to reflect on that again. Those 3 questions. Who shaped your thinking when you were growing up? Who influences your decisions today? Who do you become when you are surrounded by certain people? Who do you become? Let me tell you, I remember the day that I learned the true weight of relationships, and the day that I learned that not all relationships are good relationships. I was about 19 years old, and a friend of mine and I lived in this house where we shared a bedroom, right? We had our single beds in this one bedroom, and we're just making the best of the situation. We did not have jobs. We were just volunteering at the church. We did not have any kind of income. And I remember one day after church, we had a few friends come over to the house and they chilled with us for a bit. And somebody ended up opening our fridge and our cupboard. They laughed us down. When I tell you they had a good laugh, because the fridge was as bright as can be. There was not even a bottle of water in that fridge. The cupboard, oh my God, there was not a single thing in that cupboard. And the laugh started. Ha ha ha! How do you guys survive? That's why you are so skinny. Ha 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 ha! And of course, we're guys, so we laugh along with them. It's not that deep. We're not offended. And then we go our separate ways at some point. This was somewhere in the middle of the day. And then later on, about 2 to 3 hours later, one of the friends who was there calls me and says, "Are you guys still at the house?" And he comes with 2 grocery bags from a shop called Choppies, from a grocery store called Choppies, where he bought us a few canned stuff, some rice, some maize meal, just a couple of things for us to live for the week. Brought us some food. And right there I saw the difference between people. I saw the difference in relationships. There are relationships that are essential, and there are relationships that you just do not need. When it was easier to just laugh, there was a friend who said, yes, it's funny because we're guys, but man, how can I help these guys? And he lived at home and he had the means, and he went out and did that. And can I tell you something? I have determined to be that kind of friend. I've determined to be that kind of friend as far as it is possible, as far as it is within my ability. I'll show up, man. I will help. I will serve. I'll stand in the gap as far as it is possible. That is what it means to be a suitable helper. None of us can do life alone. None of us have everything that we need in and of ourselves. My friend, this is the value of relationships. I want you to meet me here again tomorrow at the very same time for the second part of this week's series, Why Relationships Matter. See you on the next episode, my friend. God bless you.